Okay, so let me show you an alternative method for to approach this problem. So on one of the videos, you saw that I used the intercepts to graph it. But what we can do also, here's another option, is change it to slope-intercept form. So we want to change it to this, y equals mx plus b. So we want to make it to that. That way it's easier for us to graph, and all we have to do is identify our slope, okay? And then identify our y-intercept, okay? So that's what we want to do to go a little faster. So it's just up to you what you want to use. But I'll show you this method here. Okay, so what we want to do first is leave y by itself. This section right here, we want to leave it by itself. Okay, so that section we want to leave on its own. So notice that it's the x that's bothering it, right? So what we want to do is go ahead and subtract x. Since it's positive, you subtract it. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other. Okay? So we do it to both sides. So on this section right here, it becomes a giant 0. So that goes away. And then what we end up with is 3y is equal to, now notice over here, we want the x term to come first, and then the one without the x to come second. So notice I'm going to write this section first, and then this section second. So look how I do it here. I write negative x minus 3. And I put a minus because it's a negative 3. Now, the next part that I want to do is I want to get rid of this. Whoops. Let me undo that really quick. I did not mean to do that. Let me delete that part. Okay, what I meant to do is highlight it. I want to get rid of that 3. So what I want to do is go ahead and divide by 3 so it could become a 1. But here's the trick. We want to divide by 3 on each of these terms right here. Divide by 3. So right here it becomes a giant 1. So I have 1y is equal to, now if you notice here, there's an invisible 1 right there. So this will give us a negative 1/3 x. And then here 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. So we have minus 1. Okay, and then now what we could do is identify our slope and y-intercept. So notice this one here gives us the slope. So my m is going to be negative 1/3. And this is your delta y over delta x. Okay, so notice that the 1 is negative. That means we're going to move down. And since the 3 is positive, we're going to go to the right. Okay, that's our movement. Okay, and then we got our b, our y-intercept, our beginning. Notice that here, I'll use the highlighter. That's located right there. Since it's a minus 1, we're going to put negative 1. Okay, so this gives us our starting point on our y-axis, right? So this is where we start at our y-axis. Whoops, let me draw y here. Okay, so we look at our y-axis and it says start at negative 1. So I go ahead and put a dot right there. That's where negative 1 is at there. Okay, and now if you look at closely here, okay, our movement, and I made annotations here. Here's our movement right there. So notice that we're going to go down 1 and then over 3. So I'm just going to take the purple here and go down 1. So we go down 1 over 3. And then I put a dot right there. Okay? And if you want, you could continue this as many times as you want. So you go down 1 over 3, and I put a dot right there. Go down 1 over 3, and put a dot there. Okay? And then what we want to do is just connect the dots really fast so we can make our lines. So we eyeball it. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. And then we just go ahead and make our straight line. As straight as it could be. Whoops. Right there. And that's how you graph that line.